Production 60216, KITTnap. This episode was written by Skip Webster and directed by Bernard McEvedy. It originally aired on NBC Friday night, 8 p.m. on September 27th, 1985. It was filmed from August 6th through the 14th of 1985. It was the 65th episode to air, but the 67th to be produced. The synopsis reads as follows. Michael's relaxing afternoon is interrupted when a former foe escapes from prison. Our commentary begins on this title screen here. This is footage that is reused from Season 3's Night of the Drones. In fact, if you look off to the left, you see most of the Santa Clara Penitentiary sign, which is the name they gave to this prison in Night of the Drones. I always thought this was kind of, poor editing. But, the guard opens the door, and then this guy starts shooting from inside and hits the guard. But first of all, it looks like he hits him up high and the guy's shooting down low. And you see him shoot, but you don't see anything blow through the other side of the door. So they probably should have done this a little better. Maybe have him put his window down and shoot out the window. But I guess no one's supposed to be analyzing this as closely as we are. All right, now we transition to Michael and Karen inside of KITT. This is not an actual drivable KITT car they're in. This is an insert car, a different insert car. Usually the T-top insert car could be actually driven. This one does not have an engine. It doesn't even have a front clip. It was mounted on a boat trailer. And it was used obviously just for scenes where the car was in convertible mode and they wanted to show the inside. And also, you're in Southern California and you've got your convertible down, but you still wear a black leather jacket. So don't get it. And speaking of the convertible, a couple fun facts about the convertible. This is, still is. This car still survived. This is one of the 5 that have survived. This is a 1982 Firebird, not a Trans Am, with a V6 engine. And the V6 engine has never been changed out. So even when they were filming, it had a V6 engine. And they didn't put a proper line lock in this car. So on the few occasions in the series where you see the convertible doing a 180, actually I think maybe the only occasion you see it is in The Wrong Crowd coming up. The stunt guy is just pulling the e-brake. But this is, and was, the only Knight Rider car, screen-used KITT car, that was purchased as a used car. So this car had a life before Knight Rider as someone's used, well, it was new, but someone's personal 1982 Firebird. They drove it. It was a hard top. They drove it, and then it was purchased as a used car, and the top was chopped off, and then it was converted to a convertible. So love to track down that original owner. We actually have that original owner's name, but we haven't been able to find them yet. Maybe one day. So this is pretty neat. We're back to the trailer convertible that actually had a roof that could fold down. It was actually a pretty impressive piece of engineering. This roof could legitimately fold down, and the glass hatch tucks in. The tonneau cover, the fiberglass tonneau cover, would have been like back behind the car, and it was on a rail. So once this top went down, then someone in the back pushed the tonneau cover on rails to kind of cover the whole thing. So really, it was actually a pretty neat piece of engineering for the day. And you can see here, this is still that trailer car. And if you look at the roof, you can see how it closed, but it didn't really close nice and smooth. You can see it doesn't have T-tops, but it has a T-top headliner in here to kind of make it look like T-tops. It's got a fake overhead console here and a handle right here. And I think this handle actually latches the roof shut manually. I think that's what you're seeing right there. And then, of course, we transition. Now we're actually in the drivable Season 4 T-top hero car. And once again, Michael is not wearing his comm link. He's wearing a different watch. Michael's chasing Kavanaugh here, and we see this scene where Kitt's stopped. He has to go around some cars at an intersection, and interestingly enough, this exact same intersection was featured back in Let It Be Me in season 2. Same deal. Cars were stalled there, and Michael had to drive down and drive around them. In fact, take a look at this building right back here. Here it is from Let It Be Me. Same intersection right there. Okay, so by season 4, and we talked about this a little bit in Night of the Juggernaut in our commentary there, but season 4, KITT got an all-new front bumper. And it was sculpted by George Barr, so they were all made out of rubber, and they were more angular. They kind of did away with the turn signal indents, but there were 2 cars that they still used in season 4 that still had this old style bumper. And this is one of those 2. This is a kind of a general purpose T-top stunt car. First premiered at the beginning of season 3. It's used season 3 and pretty heavily in season 4. So you can see this still has the old style bumper, and then the right-hand blind drive car also still has that old style bumper. For this episode, we've got 9 different Trans Ams used for KITT, so let's go over them. The season 3 and 4 hero car, the drivable convertible car, the hardtop stunt car, the same one we've had all the way since season 1 in about Chariot of Gold. This general purpose T-top stunt car, the left-hand blind drive car, which you see here, the season 4 insert car, our hardtop stunt car, the one you might have seen on Jay Leno's Garage, the Super Pursuit mode drivable vehicle, and the trailer convertible. Back in the insert car, if you take a real close look, you can see that Karen has a seatbelt on, a lap belt. The insert cars did have lap belts on because, and I think some of the other I know the stunt cars had lap belts as well. I think pretty much all the cars had lap belts, which makes sense, right? I mean, they don't want to show the actual shoulder belts, but they are out driving on real roads, so they need to have some kind of safety device in. So they all wear lap belts, as you can see there. And after Kavanaugh crashes his Lincoln into the barrels, if you look in the background, this is one of the GMC Astros owned by Universal Studios, part of their fleet. And I don't have a screenshot of this, but shortly after this scene, Kavanaugh gets picked up by a helicopter, and that's how he kind of makes his escape. So that helicopter used at the beginning of this episode is a Bell 206B Jet Ranger 3. And what's interesting is that helicopter was used in a number of different shows and movies over the years, to include the very first episode of MacGyver. And it was, so after its Hollywood career, it went back into kind of private use, and it was damaged beyond repair in the 2005 Hurricane Katrina disaster in New Orleans. So that's kind of the fate of that helicopter. So if you're a bad guy wanting to have a front, a supposed legitimate corporation, don't name it something generic like Enterprises International Inc. That'll give it right away. So Michael, I think in this scene, is supposed to be at Karen's house. Is that right? But anyways, KITT here for this scene where they film with Scruffy the dog trying to run from the dog catcher was filmed at Universal Studios. In fact, if you look in the background here, this is one of their studios. They're all painted. It's a dead giveaway because of the paint job. This is how they were painted back in the 80s. Oh, what I wouldn't give for a can of Bailey's generic cherry soda right now. And we have Julian here being the judge at a bikini contest. So it's typical 80s, right? But if you listen to the announcer, whenever they're talking, there's an announcer talking about the different models as they come up on the quote-unquote stage. And this one says, the announcer says they're wearing a Grimaldi original, which is, of course, a reference to Gino Grimaldi, one of the producers on the show. Mr. Gowron himself, Robert O'Reilly, makes his second and final appearance in the series after appearing in Season 2's A Good Night's Work. He grew a beard here. He didn't have a beard in that episode. So here's an interesting tidbit. So we see Julian being presented with these 2 photos. And the one of Patricia here, if you look at the outfit she's wearing, the yellow with the kind of blue jacket on top, this outfit she actually wore in a promo shoot for season. There you go, right here. There it is. And you know what? Peter Peros is wearing the same shirt he wore in KITTnap also. So to me, that pretty much clinches it that this photo shoot was done during the filming of KITTnap. That's really cool. I just noticed that. Oh, I also wanted to back up, way back to the beginning credits. So in season 4 on the original NBC airings of the episode, the show was now broadcast in stereo, which it had never been before. And in fact, you would see whenever KITT was coming at you at the opening seconds of the intro, you would actually see the NBC logo and it would say in stereo. And they actually changed that logo midway through season 4 to this one here. But yeah, season 4 is the only season that was originally available in stereo. The rest were mono. Michael parks in front of Karen's apartment. This building was the Universal Park Apartments, I believe, right across the street from the studio. We've seen this building before in Knight Rider. This was Lauren's apartment in Diamonds on a Girl's Best Friend. And it was also the building used in the opening seconds of the Charles in Charge intro. All right, so we see the dog catcher. He's coming. He's getting ready to open KITT's, or try to open KITT's door. We can see this is the driver's side door. We have the handle here, the lock on the right, and then we move forward. And the insert shot is actually of the passenger side door with the lights underneath. This was never on a car. These lights were never on a car. This was an insert door used for close-ups only. And here's the other angle, still in front of the Universal Park Apartments. But if you look in the background, you can see the black tower at Universal Studios. That's how close they were. All right, so now we have KITT getting trapped in a pincer movement and going to get KITTnapped in a few seconds. And just to kind of show you, this is kind of a neat scene because you see the live version, then you instantly see the Sessoms and Slagle miniature version. So you can see here live, they had obviously a real KITT car, they had containers behind it, and then instantly it changes to this. So how did they do? Not bad, really. I mean, obviously in the background we have a container perpendicular to KITT. Here they're stacked up a little differently. And obviously you can see KITT looks more like a model here than he does here, because he is, right? And then we have KITT being shipped off in the container. Once again, there's that same GMC Astra we saw earlier in the episode kind of in the background. And as he's leaving, as KITT's leaving on the semi, you can see one of the Comtron trailers, also known as the Universal Studios crew trailers, right there. Just barely peeking out behind one of those containers. And once again, to get this filming angle, they actually removed the wall where the camera currently is, because this computer, which by the way, I think we mentioned this in the Night of the Juggernaut, they got new computers in the semi and in Devin's office for season 4. This is I believe an HP, but normally this would be tucked inside of that alcove on the wall unit, but instead it's poking out here. And something else. So take a look at this toolbox, which again was an addition for season 4. So right now, if you look at it, it's on this back wall of the semi. All right. So then the camera turns here, and Michael wonders how are they going to get to the waterfront so they can rescue Karen. And now the toolbox is on the other side. So then what makes no sense is they go up into the lounge, and then somehow they're able to access the tractor from the lounge. Well, we know, especially now, because we have the tractor and the trailer, that's obviously impossible, right? They're just going to the front of the trailer. There is no access door from the trailer to the sleeper, or even from the sleeper to the tractor. So it's all just movie magic. And we've got, for the one and only time, this is the only time we ever see the tractor and trailer separated on the show. One and only time. Now, of course, if you want to see the tractor and trailer separated today, watch our videos on the restoration of this exact trailer and this exact tractor on our channel that we've recently rescued and are currently restoring. And as I've told you in the past, I have a soft spot in my heart for this particular Knight Rider car, the one that one of the two that we own. And it just kind of kills me that you got these bad guys jumping on the roof and the hood and denting it. But I guess back then you could do that. They were just disposable cars. Now they're a bit more revered, I guess you could say. So this is a neat scene, and they actually used the hero car for this, which was kind of amazing. And if you look, when they're shooting on the inside, it actually puts marks on the seats, which I guess confirms that the inside of KITT is not indestructible. He was only coated on the outside with an indestructible coating, I guess. Yeah, I mean, look at that. They just blew a hole in that PMD seat. Don't they know how expensive PMD seats are today? All right, so we've got RC and Michael. RC's lamenting that he misses the Street Avenger action, obviously a reference to Night of the Juggernaut and his previous career. And this is not an insert truck. This is the actual flag semi-tractor. And if you look under here, under the cow, you see how it's red right under here. Well, that's because between seasons 3, so this tractor was used only in seasons 3 and seasons 4. Season 1 and 2 had a different tractor altogether. Between the filming of season 3 and season 4, this semi-truck, just the tractor, not the trailer, the tractor was painted red and used in a 1985 movie called Steel Collar Man, which we've covered on our channel. Then between seasons, whenever that was done, then they painted it back to black and reapplied the gold decals. So, but they clearly forgot to paint this cowl, and that's why you see red under there. And there's still evidence of red on the tractor to this day. Boy, what a conveniently placed tab on the side of that shipping container so Michael can hit it to knock the door down to allow KITT to escape, right? All right, so Michael rescues Karen. Michael is wearing gloves here. He gets in KITT, and when he presses the Super Pursuit Mode button, no gloves. Then we see this, and this is, again, one of the only times, this is the actual Super Pursuit Mode drive vehicle, the only time you kind of even get a glimpse at the dash, which, just like the convertible drive car, is all stickers. And looking underneath the Super Pursuit Mode drive vehicle, you can see these camera tow bar mounts. These are leftovers from when this car was the Season 3 insert car, and it spent most of its time being towed. Whenever they converted it to the full-time Super Pursuit Mode car, they just didn't bother to cut those off. And once again, this is our car, the only car ever to have a Season 4 nose with turn signal cutouts. And it only had it for a few episodes, and then this nose was replaced with the standard Season 4 angular nose. And when you look at the car, you can just barely see right here, it's got a single muffler. So on 82 to 84 Trans Ams, they came with a dual resonator muffler, which was, it basically looked like two little mufflers connected by a pipe in the middle. But Firebirds came with a single muffler. This car is a Firebird. It's not a Trans Am, but it came from the factory with a V8 engine. It's kind of a strange combination. So that's why it had the V8 engine, but since it's not a Trans Am, it got the single muffler, and that's what you're looking at right there. It still has that exact same muffler on today, although it's got some serious leaks in it. Here's kind of a better look at the seatbelt mechanism right there. It kind of looks like a GM seatbelt. And you can also see the lower console. It has the shell here, but no electronics right there. And back up on the top of the parking garage, this is still our car, the Firebird, the hardtop Firebird. One of the easy ways to tell is the stubby tow bar mounts. It's the only car that had the stubby ones that are a little shorter, and this hook right here in the back end. This is the only one that had this exact style of hook that was cut this way. That's two of the easy ways we can tell. There's a few others. And I like this. Michael hits the turbo boost, and he's really acting it. He's pulling it. He's got his neck muscle stretched, and Karen's just like, oh, okay, we're jumping. Then it cuts back to Michael, and now, even though they're in mid-flight, just looks like he's driving. All right, so now we've landed on the other parking garage, and this is still our car, and this gives you the best look probably you'll ever get at what I was talking about on that front nose. So this is a Season 4 style nose. It's more angular, less curvy, but you can see the turn signal cutouts. And this was an early design that George Barris was playing with before he eventually filled these in and made the whole top smooth, and that's what's on most of the cars. You can also see the skid plate and the tow bars filled with mud here. So then we switch. This is the left-hand blind drive car. You can even see the guy's arm right there, just barely. And we have an appearance, a cameo appearance right there by Jack Gill wearing a beard, pretending to be Robert O'Reilly, about to get flipped over the car's hood. Yeah, there we go. He does it well. That's Jack right there in action. And here we go, Michael and Julian fighting, and we have gas that's $1.06. Maybe $1.14 for premium. I'll take that. And to end the episode, we have this scene in the semi between Devin and Bonnie. And then look at Bonnie. Doesn't it look like Patricia is going to start like laughing? Well, this scene is actually in the blooper reel where you can see that Edward messes up and she starts cracking up. And I think this actual final version you see here was taken like just after that, because the way she's smiling, you can tell she had just finished like laughing heartily and she's trying not to do it again. So here, take a look at that.
What are you using as a basis for your thesis?
Alrighty, and with that, we have completed KITTnap. Hope you enjoyed it. Next up, we've got Sky Knight. As always, thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.